Hello, my name is John Drake. I've been a Ron Paul supporter since 2007. I'm the current meetup organizer for Davidson County Ron Paul supporters, and I'm a hopeful delegate for Ron Paul for the 2012 presidential primary. I just wanted to give you all an update on where we are on the delegate drive, petition drive, and what we're looking to do in this final push, and to solicit your help. First, on where we are, we definitely have enough people who signed up to be delegates. Each delegate needs 147 signatures. Each district is allotted 3 delegates, and the campaign would like us to have 6, so that we have 3 alternates. There are also 14 at-large delegates for the entire state. Some of the people in our area are working to be at-large delegates, and some are looking to be delegates for District 5, which is Jim Cooper's congressional district. I personally am up to 59 signatures, which means I've made good progress, but I have a long way to go. Others, there's some others that have gathered more, some less. This is definitely doable if we all come together and work together. Remember, as long as you are a registered voter, if you're a registered voter in Tennessee, you can sign an at-large petition, and if you're a registered voter in District 5, that means Jim Cooper is your congressman, and anybody that lives in Davidson County is in District 5, and it also overlaps into a few other counties. You can sign this petition. So just coming out to an event and signing people's petitions, and you can sign as many petitions as you'd like. So signing petitions, that in of itself is a big help. Then if you are going to go a step further, you can go out and help collect petitions. You don't have to be the person on the petition to collect it. We can't make photocopies. You have to use the original. For example, my petition sheet has about 10 sheets on it. So if someone wanted to help me, I could give them a sheet or 2, and they could go and collect some petitions, and we could come back together. My own experiences, I've collected petitions from a lot of my friends and family. It doesn't have to be a Ron Paul supporter. One thing you can tell someone, you don't even have to tell them it's for Ron Paul. You can say, I'm collecting signatures for delegates for the upcoming presidential primary next year, and by signing this petition, you're just helping to support the democratic process. I have had, my friends and family all know I support Ron Paul, and most of them are Obama supporters, but I haven't had anybody say, no, I'm not going to sign it because you support Ron Paul. At least not among my friends or my family. I really haven't had that experience too much, even out in the public. Maybe one person who said she supported Hubert Humphrey many years ago, and so she wouldn't be at all interested in signing anything to do with any Republican primary. But most people, Democrats, Republicans, so forth, if they're not too busy, if they're not going to just totally brush you off, if you can get their attention, they are usually willing to sign. And some people are too busy, or some people just don't want to be involved in anything political at all. Some people aren't registered voters. Some people aren't from District 5. Again, for at-large delegates, it doesn't matter as long as it's a registered voter from Tennessee. This past Sunday, I went out with another Ron Paul supporter who's also looking to be the delegate, Melanie, and we first went to a Kroger, and we did pretty good. It was very cold and rainy that day. I was really starting to get chills before it was over because I wasn't properly dressed. I didn't realize it was going to be that cold. We got quite a few signatures. Got about 10 signatures in about 45 minutes, which is pretty decent. One thing I did, I had my umbrella with me, and as people were returning videos to the nearby Redbox, I would offer my umbrella, and sometimes people there would be willing to sign a petition. Being nice really pays off in this particular type of, into any political endeavor, including this one. eventually we asked I made the mistake of asking the manager, or I guess a manager there, who said that we couldn't be there soliciting, so we had to leave. Which it was a little crowded where we were anyway. So we went to a Publix, and we stayed a little bit further away from the door so that we wouldn't attract any negative attention like that. And now this is where things got really interesting. One of the people that we talked to, and a lot of people won't even ask who you're doing this for, but there are informed voters, and this was one. And so he's like, well, who are you doing this for? And we told them, we are doing this for Ron Paul, but we'd be willing to, the person, Melanie said, well, I could support anybody, but that is a constitutional candidate and supports the Bill of Rights. And so he asked the next logical question, well, who would that be? And she just kind of laughed and said, well, none of the other candidates. So he was nice, and he said, I like Ron Paul. There's just a few things that I don't like about him. And of course, I knew this was coming to foreign policy. And as he was talking, he said, yeah, like what Ron Paul said about, if Iran were to attack Israel. And I was like, well, did you catch the part where he said that he wouldn't get in Israel's way, and that before, when Israel bombed Iraq, he was one of the few people in Congress that voted not to condemn Israel for that, and that he believes in letting Israel handle Israel's business and not getting in the way either. And it's like, yeah, but if they get attacked and so forth. Well, Melanie brought up that Ron Paul has more support from the military than any other candidate. And he said, yes, I know that. My son's in the Air Force, and he's a big Ron Paul supporter. At this point, I knew I had it. And so, as we kept talking about different issues, and finally I brought up, when it comes to economics, there's no candidate that can touch Ron Paul. The problem that we have now is that the liberals will say you can't cut welfare, and the Republicans will say you can't cut foreign aid spending in the military, and so we are building up these unsustainable deficits because both sides have something that they don't want to cut. Ron Paul is the only candidate that has come out and said we can cut $1 trillion across the board. And he said, you're right. I totally agree. Ron Paul's the only candidate that gets it economically. So he went ahead and signed our petition, and I really believe he was really seriously rethinking his position on Ron Paul. Melanie had a flyer that she gave him about Ron Paul's positions, and he took it with him, and he was genuinely nice. About this time, I was close to hypothermia. For those of you that are from Buffalo, New York, or Canada or someplace, I know you're just laughing at me, but I was cold out there, that rainy, cold, damp weather, so we had to knock it off. But it was a very positive experience. I'm going to go today at lunchtime to the downtown public library. Someone told me that libraries are a good place to get signatures. And for one thing, everybody would have to be in that district, because you have to be in this congressional district to have a library card. So that should make things a little bit easier. There's a nice foyer there to stand in and collect signatures. Plus, it's right next door to Jim Cooper's office, and I'm thinking I might go in there to Jim Cooper's office and try to collect some signatures. I'm sure I won't get any. I know one of Jim Cooper's aides. He actually lives just a few miles from me, so I'll get a good laugh out of that. But keep up the good work. We're going to be collecting signatures from people who come to the Ron Paul Rocks event tonight at the 5 spot. This is Wednesday, November 11th. There are already 2 events that have been scheduled, and I will make sure they're on the meetup calendar, collecting signatures this weekend, Saturday and Sunday. Both are being at the starting from the same location, and I will look that up and send that out to everybody when I send you this video. And let's just push through this. December 8th is our final deadline. We can do this. We must do this. And coming together and working together for this common goal will help lay the groundwork for our finishing our canvassing and our phone baking efforts to make sure that when Ron Paul comes in first in Iowa, I believe he'll come in first in Iowa, or at least a close second, when he gets that positive publicity, we will be able to capitalize on that here in Tennessee, and we have a good shot at actually winning this thing. So hang in there. Hopefully I'll see you guys tonight. If not, at one of the upcoming events.